Andre Rosedale for Aspen University, CJ410 Police Management. This is Module 6, Discussion Question 1, which reads, why is the before-after design more common than the control group design? Which do you believe is more accurate in evaluation of project goals? So I look forward to your answer with a good APA. You might use the textbook for this response. In Vital Source, the material is found in the area of page 197, if you haven't already done that. But usually you get to see this video after you post. So the question, why is the before-after design more common than the control group design? So the before-after design is comparing the level of activity before a project has been implemented or a process has been implemented compared to the activity, the level of activity after a project or process is implemented. For example, we just recently put in GPSs into our police cruisers, and now we can see if there's a mileage difference in beforehand. So let's say Cruiser 10 would normally do 100 miles a month. Prior to this, now that there's a GPS system in and we get an idle alert, if we sit around for too long, the sergeant will get an email and he'll call you and tell you to move your cruiser. So are people moving more? So that would be a before or after effect. Then you have a control group design, which is based on identifying two similar environments where you designate one as the experimental group, where you will initiate this process or procedure, compared to an experiment or a control group where you will not implement it. There are difficulties with that. You could be, for example, let's say you're in Smithtown, any state, with a population of 10,000 people, same demographics, same businesses, that kind of thing, as Jonestown, which is the neighboring town. You could be implementing something like reducing traffic crashes by installing a traffic light downtown. So while you're trying to use Jonestown as your control group, they may be doing something else, like putting in a four-way stop sign downtown, and that's not something you can actually have control over. So there's some issues there. So I look forward to reading your response and any comments you have about what I just talked about. And while we're at it, in order to kind of continue with this conversation, have you ever worked on a project that really doesn't have any end or any reason? When I was the banded motor vehicle officer for my department, we don't have a traffic unit. I was basically the traffic unit, and we have a tool called the JMAR radar recorder, and it's a black box that sits on a telephone pole that has a radar in it and records all the traffic that comes through the one area, the speeds, the time of days, that kind of thing, and it will suggest best times for speed enforcement based on, let's say it's 25 mile per hour zone, and based on, you want to know what percentage of cars are over the speed limit at 15 miles an hour. And it will record all the cars, and it will give you a percentage on a graph and tell you when those cars at 15 miles an hour are mostly out there. And that's a great tool. I love that tool. The only thing is we don't have a dedicated traffic unit, so we really don't have a dedicated directed traffic enforcement. But we use this tool, the person that assumed the job after I went back to patrol, he does it every day, every week. He's got it in a different location for a week and just keeps moving it and coming out with these reports based on complaints from neighbors or from residents of the neighborhoods that people are speeding in their neighborhoods. For the most part, they are not going as fast as the neighbors think they are. And for the second part, as I said, we don't have a dedicated traffic unit, so it really doesn't have an ends to it. If you have any personal or professional experiences in a project like that, share it with the class, and we can comment on it. I look forward to your work.